Hello everyone, this is Sikandar here speaking. I'm going to be talking about the positive impact of video games. And to start things off, I'm going to talk a little bit about myself and my background and how video games have impacted me. Then I'm going to go on to talk about the social construction of video games on society. So, when we look at video games, we reflect on how they are when we play them, how they impact people who play them, as well as the influence they have on society as a whole. Generally, when people look at video games, I feel like they put a negative light on them. They put the games in a very negative light. That video games are a waste of time. They corrupt kids and make them more disobedient, violent, and build other negative character traits. I'm here to reflect a more positive light on video games and go over how I feel the idea of gaming has been very influential for people all around the world, of all ages. To start things off, I myself have been playing video games since I was just 5 years old. Yes, that's a very young age to start playing video games. I went from playing Zelda Ocarina of Time on Nintendo 64 to playing Halo 1 Combat Assault on Xbox, all within 1 year. And honestly, I'm very thankful I had exposure to video games at a very young age. Playing a rated M game for mature audiences when I was just a young kid had a huge impact on me. I started getting into more shooting games and competitive games that really challenged me as a player. The harder the game, the more competition, the more action, the more I was drawn to the game. And I can openly say I invested thousands of hours into various games. My parents would always say I'm wasting my time, I'm not focusing on my school and education. Therefore, they were never for video games. But I feel like they helped shape my character, allowed me to come out of my shell, and build some wonderful relationships, all of which are still relevant to who I am today. A lot of positivity, you know? Gaming has also allowed skills that I feel like I would not have if I did not play these games, which required a lot of attention to detail. For example, I've become more reactive in not only games, but as an athlete as well. I have good intuition and good reflexes that have been developed through gaming. Not only that, my judgment is better in very critical moments where I would not have been able to avoid dangerous circumstances such as car accidents if it weren't for gaming stimulating my mind and keeping me both keen and observant when I'm playing. These are just some of the positive traits and responses that I've gotten from playing video games. Now, as I've mentioned, such things as coordination, problem-solving skills being some things that I've gained from gaming. In more extreme circumstances, we have video games used to help train soldiers, our pilots, our medics, with all sort of objectives. In an article written by JAMA Network, it states that participants in the military tested the correlation between playing video games and performing laparoscopic surgery. The test consisted of participants who played in excess of 3 hours of video games a week, and that correlated with their laparoscopic skills and staturing capabilities. It turns out that excess of games played over 3 hours a week resulted in a 30% fewer errors in surgery, as well as a 27% faster completion time. This shows that games will offer more induction in motor skills rather than watching video simulations of what their practice would be like, and simulations of people that immerse themselves to build and as well as develop themselves with. Gamers also help with things such as PTSD. They allow people who have lost their social skills to practice and retain their speech, learn body movement that they've forgotten, and so much more. Another article called Playing War, How the Military Uses Video Games states that with the help of clinicians in controlled settings, soldiers are able to confront traumatic memories in a process called exposure therapy. These games have grown and developed over the course of the past decade or so, and as they will continue to do so with emerging technology, allowing the social construction of societies in more positive ways. Education has been strongly impacted by the influence of video games. People may not believe it, but that is because they lack the formal knowledge behind playing video games, and education growth has been positive. Studies shown, which are expressed in Huffington Post article, provide 7 ways games will help kids in school. First, being so that video games are a highly social activity. They provide critical thinking and comprehension. They are also a great form of stress relief for people. In a well-suited, individualized learning environment, they offer a self-prioritized learning pace without the influence of falling behind anyone else. They offer new technical skills for people who are fond of technology and the way it works. And the best part is that these games provide possibilities for education in an ethical way, where students can interact with and be exposed to new sets of information without causing any real harm, whether the topic is mathematics, sexual education, or even drug addiction, or any other formality. Video games can induce cognitive behavioral learning. Jan Plass, an NYU professor of digital media and learning sciences, states a strong point by saying that by balancing gameplay enjoyment with an appropriate level of challenge, games have the ability to keep players in their own unique, optimally challenging and engaging zone for learning. As we all know, technology is constantly growing, and video games along with that technology are becoming more and more prominent. They will become more educational, more informative, and they will be a basis of schooling, workforce, learning, more than just entertainment. We have been advancing more on interactive technology for growth in our lives, and as we will continue to do so, we will build on that way of life. Things like augmented reality, virtual reality will enable us as gamers to become more adept in our learning capabilities. Now, there are many more things I could dive into, such as correlation between gamers and health, as well as studies showing how video games improve brain function, as well. But I'm sure you have more than enough information demonstrating the positive light in video games. I would like to encourage you to play video games, challenge yourself, connect with others through games, spend time with family, or just play as a form of entertainment. There are all kinds of video games out there for every level. So don't be taken back by anything negative people tell you. There's so much more to gain from video games. Thank you.